to Moca Lights 2025. My name is Beth Giacomo. Light Evoking Dreams, 100 Years of Surrealism. Moca Lights 6 will transform the village of Patchogue into a luminous dreamscape, where time bends, objects breathe, and imagination reigns. In celebration of the 100th anniversary of Surrealism, Moca Lights 2025 will include works inspired by dreams, the unconscious, and the surreal. Patchogue Arts Council, Museum of Contemporary Art Long Island, and the Greater Patchogue Chamber of Commerce presents Moca Lights. Moca Lights 6 will transform downtown Patchogue into Long Island's only immersive, open-air museum with site-specific projected installations on both modern and historic architecture throughout the downtown. Surrounding businesses will again become a vibrant backdrop to this unique arts experience, rejuvenating and illuminating the village for spectators of all ages. The work of local, national, and international artists will be presented through a variety of programs that includes Art on the Marquee, Architecture, Night Visions projected pop-up galleries, Themescape activated, and projection-inspired performance, as well as educational opportunities for artists interested in learning how to work in digital processes. Moca Lights is made possible with numerous sponsors. Special media sponsors this year include Discover Long Island and the Long Island Advance. Our special cultural partnerships include MTA Art and Design and ILO International Light Festival Organization. This event is funded in part by Suffolk County Department of Economic Development and Planning and funding from New York State Council on the Arts and the Village of Patchogue.
All right, this is David Kennedy here, your Glow Marshal for Moca Lights 2025. And what an incredible honor this is to be Glow Marshal this year. They even moved the date this year, so I could get this honor. And Moca Lights is one of the greatest events that we do here in our community. We are the only community on Long Island that lights up our downtown with moving art. And it's a true spectacle. We really encourage everybody to come on down this weekend and enjoy Moca Lights and all the great things that are happening around Moca Lights in this wonderful town of Patchogue. And you know, one of the great events happening this weekend for Moca Lights is the Moca Lights Bar Crawl this Sunday, October the 26th, where me, your Glow Marshal, will take you from bar to bar and to artwork around the town. So come on, join me on Sunday, October 26th for a wonderful time with your Glow Marshal. Going to redefine what it means to get lit. So let's get glowing.
Welcome to our first stop, Pack Moca Long Island, 20 Terry Street. Featuring Lights on Moca on our front facade. Lights on Moca LI is curated from an international open call. This year features artists Alan Hirsch, Cynthia DiDonato, David Mew, Detlef Adderall, Drew Kane, Emi Adeguchi, Easy Jane, Farnoosh Durugar, Francesca Fino, Heather Arnold, Jamie Garbin, Jen Grasso-Moyes, Kathleen Dabrowski, Laura Kessler, Lamprecht, Lucy Boyd-Wilson, Mara Ahmed, Meta Caustics, Michael Krasowitz, Pamela Woodrope, Ria Rihan, Robert Stencil, Sahar Musavi, and Susan Detroy.
Our next stop is a building that forms a cornerstone of the artistic and cultural scene in Patchogue and the surrounding area. Located at 20 Terry Street, the Art Space building provides live and work spaces for artists and their families. Designed by HHL Architects of Buffalo, who described their building as having Mondrian-esque exteriors of plain brown brick that recall the village's commercial history, combined with steel-edged glass panels for a more modern look. The 2011 Art Space building is home to the Patchogue Arts Council, as well as the Plaza Cinema and Media Arts Center, bringing art house films to Central Suffolk residents.
Architecture. On view October 23rd through the 28th from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. each evening. Site-specific projections will illuminate the facades of contemporary and historic architecture, including some of Patchogue's most beloved buildings located throughout the downtown. Invited artists create site-specific projections utilizing projection mapping techniques, video, and light. Next up, we have Stop 2, Pack Moca Long Island Side Windows, 20 Terry Street, featuring Anaglyphs at Moca Lights 2025. This new program has multiple locations, featuring different artists. Our other locations include Endless Beauty Suites, Oak and Main at 20 Oak Street, the West Corner Windows. Artists on view include Basha Kurlander, Ben Owens, David Mew, Jack Harris, Jennifer Yuan, Mandy Kendall, and Takafumi Ida.
Anaglyphs at Moca Lights 2025. New for 2025 and inspired by our event graphics designed by artist Jack Harris. So, what is an anaglyph? Anaglyph art is a form of stereoscopic 3D art that creates the illusion of depth when viewed through especially colored glasses, typically red and cyan. It involves overlapping two slightly offset images, each rendered in a different color, and then using corresponding colored lenses to filter the images for each eye. This creates a 3D effect, as the brain interprets the slightly different perspectives as a single three-dimensional image. Featured works by Basha Kurlander, Ben Owens, David Mew, Jack Harris, Jennifer Uline, Mandy Kendall, Takafumi Ide. These can be viewed in multiple locations, each with different artists. Locations include the windows of Pack Moca LI Gallery, located at 20 Terry Street, and at Endless Beauty Suites, Oak and Main, windows at 20 Oak Street. Need glasses? You can visit Pack Moca Gallery or look for event staff or our Glow Guide, who will be handing them out during the festival.
Stop 3, Night Visions Projected Gallery screening at Plaza Cinema. Night Visions Projected Gallery is a pop-up projected outdoor gallery in the heart of Patchogue Village. 2025 works included in this program were selected from an international open call to artists working in all media. There are multiple screening locations. Here at Stop 3, the screening will take place on Sunday, October 26th at noon. No tickets are needed. First come, first seated. This event is free. Concession and bar is open. Please support the Plaza Cinema. Our location is 20 Terry Street. Night Visions LED Light Evoking Dreams, featuring Alan Kennard, Anne Cognato, Basha Kurlander, Chase Sabalia, Cynthia D. Donato, Darlene Blaurock, Detlef Adderhold, Drew Kane, Eileen Novak, Emily Fritz, Francesca Fino, Heather Arnold, Amani Coppola, Jenny Thwang, Jenny Inc., Judith Jacobs, Kathleen Dabrowski, Lamprecht, Lucy Boyd Wilson, Malcolm Fernandez, Meta Caustics, Michael Woodruff, Paul Melee, Randy Matushevitz, Renata Zhenachevska, Susan DeTroy, Takafumi Ide, William Rogers. Also included in Night Visions is a special selection of works called Fragmented Matter, curated by Andrei Budescu from Romania. This selection features artists Mircea Bozak, Hana Zeli, Diana Drogon, Shilia, Daria Langa, Aaron Simpalianu. Stop 4, United Methodist Church, corner of South Ocean Avenue and Church Street. This location features live painting with artist Alina Vilchinsky, October 23rd to the 26th, from 8 to 9:30 each evening. Vilchinsky will host live painting nightly from October 23rd to the 26th. Enjoy take-home art with free light painting photo booth on both weekend evenings. Catch surprise guest artist light painters creating contemporary surrealist-inspired works and more. On view when light painting is not in session. La Femme Dada.
This location features a projection by Alina Vilchinsky, La Femme Dada 2025. Between live light painting performances, the United Methodist Church facade will be illuminated with a rotating light art series by Vilchinsky, created especially for this year's theme, titled La Femme Dada. The series brings to light several lesser-known works by women of the Dada movement. Suzanne Deschamps, 1889 to 1963, younger sibling to Marcel Deschamps, was a painter, collagist, and sculptor, considered to be a significant contributor to the development of Dada in Paris, and is often referred to as La Femme Deschamps. Baroness Elsa von Freytag-Lodenhoven, 1874 to 1923, is theorized to have perhaps been the original art provocateur behind Fountain, the scandalous urinal sculpture by Marcel Duchamp that was rejected from the 1917 Society of Independent Artists exhibition in New York City, now considered one of the most influential pieces of 20th century art. Vilchinsky has reimagined these pieces as LED light paintings. Suzanne Duchamp's Solitude Tunnel features a graphic-style spoked circle that will be transposed over the church's stained glass rose window. Vilchinsky invites you to be a part of mesmerizing real-time interactive art experience, blending traditional long-exposure photography with cutting-edge video light painting software and immersive projection mapping. Vilchinsky will transform the historic United Methodist Church into a breathtaking two-story moving mural. Using light as your brush, you'll create dazzling visuals on the building's facade, live in real time. Whether just curious or a creative thrill seeker, this is your chance to paint the night with color, movement, and imagination. It's not just an art installation. It's a luminous urban canvas. Vilchinsky will host live light painting nightly, October 23rd through 26th, from 8 to 9:30 p.m. Enjoy take-home art with the free light painting photo booth on both weekend evenings. Catch surprise guest artists, light painters creating contemporary surrealist-inspired works, and more. Family-friendly for all ages and abilities. Lights will be provided. Participants are also welcome to bring flashlights, other light toys, and their phone lights.
The United Methodist Church was built in 1889 in the Romanesque Revival style that was gaining popularity at the time. Unlike most other churches built in this style, the United Methodist Church was constructed using the more utilitarian material of red brick, rather than more elevated and expensive materials like marble or granite that were common for this typically more ornate style of architecture. The choice of materials closely connects the building to Patchogue's industrial legacy, creating a space that would have been seen as both sacred and accessible to the mill workers, baymen, and shipbuilders that would have comprised the congregation. The building itself was designed by architect Oscar Thiel of New York City, who had a specialty in constructing churches. Perhaps the building's most striking features, the 3 large rose stained glass windows, were manufactured by the famous Tiffany brothers in 1890 using opal glass, a relatively new technique for creating stained glass. The windows each feature a different religious scene and were designed by Tidden and Arnold of Brooklyn. Patchogue's Methodist community has a long history dating back to 1791, over 100 years before Patchogue was even incorporated as a village. Prior to the construction of this church, the area's Methodists shared a church with Patchogue's Congregationalists, with the two groups worshiping together in a shared church building between 1793 and 1832. The United Methodist Church is one of 3 Patchogue churches on the National Register of Historic Places, the other 2 being St. Paul's Episcopal Church and the Congregational Church on Main Street.
Stop 5, Historic Industrial Coverage Corp., on the corner of South Ocean Avenue and Church Street, directly across from the United Methodist Church, featuring Linda O'Keefe and Tony Doyle, with Titlekin.
This location features a projection by Linda O'Keefe and Tony Doyle. Titlekin 2025. Titlekin is a new audio-visual collaboration by sound artist Linda O'Keefe and composer Tony Doyle that explores the delicate entanglements between climate, memory, and marine life. Projected onto the architecture of the Historical Industrial Coverage Corp, at nightfall, the work draws from tidal rhythms, shifting temperatures, and submerged ecologies to imagine a world in flux. Synthesized imagery and sound flow together to evoke the convergence of biological and human-made systems, polluted waters, rising seas, disappearing species, and the quiet residues of extractive histories. Woven into the soundscape are ambient recordings and fragments of climate memory shaped by people around the world. Titlekin does not aim to overwhelm. Instead, it invites pause, an encounter with light and sound as a way to feel the tides of change.
Located at 62 South Ocean Avenue, the former Union Savings Bank building, today the Industrial Coverage Corporation, is a building that is beautifully encased in white marble in the neoclassical style. Greek columns support a pedimented doorway, balustrades surround the rooftop, and arched windows run along Church Street. The bank was originally founded in 1896 and was based in several locations around downtown Patchogue, rapidly outgrowing each space. In 1911, a committee was formed to explore the design and construction of a dedicated building for the bank, which by then had amassed over $2 million in deposits. One of the most severe economic depressions in U.S. history, the so-called Panic of 1893, led to the failure of hundreds of banks across the country. In response, business and civic leaders in many communities joined together to form a wave of new banks, ushering in an era of community banking in which over 12,000 new banks were founded in the 30 years between 1890 and 1920. One of them was the Union Savings Bank. The legacy of the financial collapse that led to the founding of the bank can be seen in the very architecture of the building itself. Seeking to assuage the public's fears, banks used materials, designs, and architectural elements that sought to convey strength, security, and endurance. A further influence on the design of the Union Savings Bank and other similar institutions was the 1893 Columbian Exposition in Chicago, also known as the Chicago World's Fair. This event used hundreds of tons of brilliant white marble to draw illusions between the emerging American nation and the Greco-Roman past that loomed large in the imagination of many Americans at the time. Many of the town's most prominent civic and business leaders were involved in the creation of what was truly a community bank. Emerson Terrell, one of the bank's founders and presidents, also built a large number of houses and commercial structures all throughout Patchogue. Another important personality in the development of the bank was local lawyer and future New York State Supreme Court Justice Walter J. Cox, who was tired of relying on banking from places like Southold to handle the real estate transactions that formed the cornerstone of his legal practice in Patchogue. The National Register of Historic Places recognizes the Union Savings Bank building as an architecturally and historically important American building. A prime example of the mid-19th century classical revival of architecture, this building is faced in brilliant white Vermont marble.
Welcome to Stop 6, one of our favorite buildings, the jewel of Patchogue, historic Carnegie Library, 160 West Main Street, featuring The Fox, the Folks, World Beyond Dusk, all the way from Indonesia.
This location features a projection by The Fox, the Folks, World Beyond Dusk 2025. World Beyond Dusk is not simply a serial extension of the Fox, the Folks universe. It is a transformation, a reimagining of the familiar into a nighttime celebration. As darkness descends, the moon lends its glow, and light begins to sculpt the night. Shadows dissolve into illumination, and the world blooms into a carnival of vibrant hues. The work is a tribute to the beauty of color and darkness, a luminous wonder that thrives under the night sky. Projected under the historic facade of the Carnegie Library, the piece intertwines neoclassical grandeur with dreamlike imagination. The dusk unfolds with elegance and glamour, gradually shifting into a realm that feels ever more magical, playful, and alive. At its heart, World Beyond Dusk is an invitation for the Patchogue Teen Center and its community to experience light not only as illumination, but as transformation. A light over darkness, of creativity, joy, and togetherness within the curtain of the night. We warmly welcome you to step into World Beyond Dusk, to wander through its glow, and to celebrate this moment where history, imagination, and community converge under the open night sky. May this shared spectacle of light inspire wonder, connection, and delight for all who gather here. The Fox, the Folks is a multimedia artist team based in Bandung, Indonesia, specializing in 2D style storytelling with a focus on hand-drawn and motion graphic animation for projection mapping. Their work has garnered international acclaim and earned them prestigious awards. Notable accolades include the Grand Prize for Mapping from Home Indonesia in 2020, the Grand Prize and Audience Award at the 1 Minute Projection Mapping in Tokyo, Japan in 2021, First Prize at the Schlosslichspiel 2022 in Germany, and First Prize at the Lunar Festival of Lights 2024 in Bulgaria. Embracing the use of bright colors and playful visuals as their identity, the Fox, the Folks aims to create works that everyone can enjoy, inspiring the world with authentic visual storytelling in the realm of light art and projection mapping.
The Patchogue Library began as a private association in 1883, was made public in 1900, and had 7 different locations before the beautiful Carnegie Library was built in 1908. This building served as the main branch for the Patchogue Library until 1981, when it was replaced by the current library building on Main Street. Steel magnate Andrew Carnegie generously provided $15,000, worth over $500,000 today, to the Patchogue community for the construction of a public library. Architect John Van Pelt chose a neoclassical design with Greek columns for the building, and Edwin F. Bailey of the Bailey Lumber Mills donated land on Lake Street for Patchogue's new library. This was one of over 2,500 Carnegie libraries built, most of which were in the United States, but they were also built in Canada, the United Kingdom, and countries as far afield as Serbia, Malaysia, and Fiji. In 1958, the size of the building was doubled when a cutting-edge steel and glass addition was constructed. Dramatically different in style from the classical columns and brickwork of the original building, this addition enabled the building to continue to serve the ever-growing needs of the community for several more decades until the library finally outgrew its home and took up residence in the current location on Main Street. When the library moved into its new home in 1981, the Carnegie Building was taken over by Briarcliff College, who occupied the space until 2003. The empty Carnegie Library building sat behind Sweezy's department store in the area that is now transformed into the new village at Patchogue. A group of local citizens formed Friends of the Carnegie Library to propose the historic Carnegie be saved and reused. Tritech Corporation funded and moved the Carnegie to property donated by Suffolk County to the village of Patchogue. In 2012, the 100-ton brick building was lifted and transported at a rate of 2 inches per minute to 160 West Main Street, where it stands today. The Knapp Sweezy Foundation funded renovations on the Carnegie Library, and it opened as the Patchogue Medford Library's Teen Center in 2016. The Greater Patchogue Historical Society Museum is also located in the renovated Carnegie Library.
Stop 7. Bank of America, located at 47 West Main Street. This building features work by Aga Rez Abbas. Ephemeral Echoes.
This location features a projection by Aga Abbas. Ephemeral Echoes 2025. Ephemeral Echoes is a generative digital artwork that unfolds in real time, continuously creating patterns and visuals that can never be repeated. The piece resists permanence, instead embracing impermanence as a central theme. Each encounter offers a singular experience that vanishes the moment it is witnessed. By shifting away from traditional static forms, the work invites viewers to become present, attuned to the fleeting beauty of the moment, and to reflect on how digital systems can mimic the rhythms of nature and of life itself. At its core, the piece asks, what does it mean to experience art that cannot be captured, replayed, or owned, but only lived in the instant of its creation? In this way, Ephemeral Echoes transforms digital technology into a medium of meditation, impermanence, and presence. Aga Reza Abbas is a multimedia designer, academic, and video game designer whose creative practice centers on digital interactive media and generative art. With a master's degree in multimedia arts, his work pushes the boundaries of conventional art by exploring temporality, interactivity, and the role of the viewer in shaping experience. His generative works are living systems, dynamic, ever-changing, and designed to challenge the notion of permanence in art. Rooted in both creative practice and critical pedagogy, Abbas bridges design, technology, and play to reimagine how art can evolve over time and engage audiences in new.
Another one of Patchogue's beautiful neoclassical structures, the white marble of what is now the Bank of America building, has been a shining fixture on Main Street since its construction in the early 1900s. Originally the Citizens Trust Company Bank building, this bank first opened to the public in 1903 before merging with the Patchogue Bank and Trust Company in 1933, seeking to pool their resources after both had nearly collapsed in the early years of the Great Depression. The name was subsequently shortened to Patchogue Bank. Through various mergers and acquisitions over the years, it later became Island State Bank, North Star Bank, and a host of other names before eventually becoming the Bank of America we know today. Next to the bank building, there was a Masonic Lodge that was built in 1905 at a cost of $15,000 by Patchogue resident Edwin F. Bailey. The grocery store of Matthew, Reedy, and Shand was on the ground floor of that building, a fact that is now referenced in the name of the nearby Shand's restaurant. In the 1940s and 50s, there was a public restroom with an attendant that occupied the ground floor of the building. However, the building was ultimately destroyed in a fire in 1974, and later the lot was purchased by the Island State Bank for use as a drive-up window, a function it continues to serve in the present day.
Welcome to Stop 8, the main Patchogue Medford Library location, here at 5460 East Main Street. This location includes the windows in front of you and the brick wall to your right. Featured here is a work by Jonathan Monahan, The Gilded Passage, presented in a special cultural partnership with MTA Art and Design.
This location features a projection by Jonathan Monahan, The Gilded Passage 2025, site-specific video installation. A procession of unicorns makes their way through Patchogue Village. The work was originally commissioned for Grand Central Madison Terminal and is reminiscent of a trompe-l'oeil fresco and referencing the historic Grand Central Station. The work creates an illusionistic interplay across 5 scenes as the virtual unicorns pass behind architectural columns. The Gilded Passage reframes Grand Central Madison as a liminal space, mirroring the way we move between material and virtual realities in the digital age. Commissioned by MTA Arts and Design. Jonathan Monahan is an artist whose prints, sculptures, and video installations weave together elements of ancient mythology, science fiction, and consumer culture. His work explores the intersection of power, wealth, and technology in the digital age, in an imaginative and satirical critique that challenges viewers to examine their relationship with these forces. Past exhibitions include Sundance New Frontier, the Walters Art Museum in Baltimore, NRW Forum in Dusseldorf, and the Palais de Tokyo in Paris. His work has been featured in the New York Times and Vogue Italia. His work sits in numerous public and private collections, including the Crystal Bridges Museum of American Art, the Phillips Collection in Washington, D.C., and the Microsoft Art Collection. Jonathan is represented by the Bitforms Gallery in New York and 2248 M Squared in Paris. He lives and works in Washington, D.C.
We now come to the main branch buildings of the Patchogue Medford Library. When the library finally outgrew even the enlarged Carnegie Building on Lake Street, it was apparent that a much larger facility would be needed to serve the area. After an exhaustive search, the current location was chosen. Formerly home to a W.T. Grant store, the building has continually evolved with the changing needs of the community it serves. Over the decades, proposals for a full-service library branch in Medford were brought forward and ultimately decided against for a variety of reasons. However, this all changed in 2018 when a new branch was finally approved. A groundbreaking ceremony was held in 2022, and following 2 years of construction, the Medford branch was officially opened on June 11th, 2024. From the start of Patchogue's library system, women have played an important role. Early on, they went door to door soliciting funds to purchase books. The first librarian was a woman named Marion Brundage. A suffrage organization called Cirrhosis was instrumental in the library's decision to go public after learning that a committee of 6 women had done the same thing for a library in Brooklyn. In fact, the Carnegie Library would have never been completed had it not been for the intercession of the mother of architect John Van Pelt, who used her connection to Woodrow Wilson to lobby Carnegie for more funds after construction was halted when the company building the library raised wages for the workers, causing the project to go over budget.
Welcome to Stop 9. Night Visions at Endless Beauty Suites, Oaken, Maine, located at 20 Oak Street, on the west corner windows. Here, selected works from Night Visions Gallery, without sound, will be on view October 23rd through the 28th, from 6 to 11 each evening. Here we are at Stop 10, the historic Patchogue Theater for the Performing Arts, located at 71 East Main Street. Here we see Art on the Marquee, on view from October 21st through December 31st, 2025. In collaboration with the Patchogue Theater for the Performing Arts, a rotating series of artist-created videos, GIFs, and animations turn the digital marquee into an alternative exhibition venue. The series of works curated for Art on the Marquee were selected from an international open call. This is currently the only marquee exhibit on Long Island and is an original concept created for Moca Lights by the Patchogue Arts Council. Artists on view include Alina Vilczynski, Basha Kurlander, David Mew, Eileen Novak, Farnoosh Durrudgar, Heather Arnold, Jason Shaw, Jeremy Graffo, Lamprecht, Jonathan Monahan, Melissa Pelletier, Mike Sete, and Topher Sipes. Art on the Marquee will run October 20th to the 23rd from 8 to 11 p.m. October 24th to the 26th from 11 to 3 a.m. October 27th to the 29th from 8 to 11 p.m. Run times change November through December. Please check our website.
71 East Main Street is the location of the Patchogue Theater for the Performing Arts. Warden Glynn's Theater originally opened here in 1923 and became known for its magnificent interior decoration. Considered the largest and most extravagant theater on Long Island, it was described as palatial and magnificent in newspapers of the day. Broadway productions, vaudeville acts, and burlesque shows were popular attractions in the theater's early years. The theater also presented first-run films with stars like Gloria Swanson attending premieres in person. When the Great Depression hit in 1929, the theater was sold to Prudential Theater Circuit and converted into a movie theater. A fire in 1958 destroyed the original lobby, which was replaced with a smaller, far more modest lobby. In 1980, the building was sold to the United Artists and eventually converted into a multiplex format with 3 different screens that could play multiple movies at once. The act of converting the theater to a multiplex destroyed much of the original extravagant and historically significant interior. A few years after the conversion, the theater went out of business and it sat abandoned for over a decade. Eventually, the building was purchased in 1997 by the Patchogue Village Board in an early bid to revitalize downtown Patchogue. The restoration of the historic theater began with the help of local businesses and a number of grants. 60,000 pounds of steel was added to the stage to support 17 tons of lighting and scenery. A 5,000 square foot addition accommodates large modern sets, and a loading dock enables each arriving production to set up and dismantle with ease. Over a period of many years, the restoration team went to incredible lengths to reconstruct the theater in a style that reflected its original magnificence. Today, the theater hosts a wide range of music, theater, comedy, and other acts that bring thousands of visitors to downtown Patchogue year-round.
Welcome to Stop 13, our last stop on the tour, Night Vision's projected gallery at the Better Man Distilling Company. This stop is activated on October 24, 2025 from 6 to 9:30 p.m. The Better Man Distilling Company is located at 161 River Avenue, Patchogue. The screening is free. Join us for a drink at the Better Man Distillery.